A group of ancient Druids gathered around a bonfire not for a somber ritual but for a fashion critique session. The moon is high, the air is chilly, and the fashion is, well, let's just say it's a bit unconventional. There's Brock, sporting a long robe so cumbersome he trips over the hem every third step. He's topped it off with a ram skull for a hat, because nothing screams high fashion like some good old cranial bone. Then there's Moore, who thought it would be a good idea to wear a bear pelt. Yes, a full-on bear pelt. Her struggle to keep the oversized headpiece from falling over her eyes is a sight to behold. And who could forget the brave soul who decided to accessorize with live snakes? Talk about taking fashion risks. But the Druids don't seem to mind. They're too busy roasting each other's fashion choices around the bonfire. After all, even in the ancient world, style was a matter of personal taste. Well, you know what they say, fashion is subjective, even for ancient Druids. Now, let's fly on our broomsticks to the Middle Ages, where witches were not just brewing potions but also carving pumpkins. Picture this. A coven of witches, huddled around a flickering fire, their cackles echoing in the night as they brandish their carving tools. Imagine the witches, their faces illuminated by the eerie glow of the fire, carving away at pumpkins with a competitive gleam in their eyes. Just like us, they would have wanted their pumpkins to stand out, to be the spookiest of them all. Can you visualize the variety of original scary faces they might have come up with? A snaggle-toothed grin here, a menacing scowl there, perhaps even a pumpkin carved to resemble the village elder who'd wronged them. The competition would have been fierce, the stakes high. After all, the winner would have had the honor of being the scariest witch of the season. But remember, it's not about winning, it's about scaring the wits out of your competitors. Fast forward to the Victorian era, where ghosts decided that plain sheets were just too passé. The spectral world was in need of a fashion revolution, and what better way to instigate this than with a costume party? Imagine this, a grand ballroom, dimly lit by flickering candlelight. Spirits, no longer satisfied with the simplicity of floating white sheets, started to don extravagant outfits. Victorian ladies in their ghostly gowns, hauntingly handsome gentlemen in their spectral suits, and let's not forget the phantom poodles in petticoats. This was no ordinary gathering, it was a spectral showcase of the finest ghostly garments, and thus, the very first ghostly fashion show took place, marking the birth of costume parties. This tradition quickly caught on with the living, who began to host their own costume parties, giving them a chance to let their creativity shine through their outfits. And that, my friends, is how the Victorian era gave a new meaning to ghosting. The 20th century witnessed the rise of horror movies, and our ghost friends decided they needed to up their game. You see, as horror flicks grew in popularity, the spectral population realized they were falling behind. They were still booing in the same old-fashioned way they had for centuries. So they did what any self-respecting apparition would do. They enrolled in acting classes. Yes, you heard it right, acting classes for ghosts. They studied the greats, practiced their lines, and learned how to project their voices from the netherworld to the living room. Picture a specter in front of a mirror, rehearsing its boo technique, trying to make it chillier, spookier, more spine-tingling. Imagine them practicing their spectral expressions, perfecting the art of the slow, creepy materialization. They worked on their timing, on their scare tactics, and above all on their dramatic entrances. And all this hard work paid off, making them scarier for the big screen. I guess even spirits need a little bit of drama in their afterlife. Finally, we arrive at our modern Halloween rave, where historical figures get down to a mix of medieval chants and spooky dubstep. Picture this. Julius Caesar busting a move on the dance floor, his laurel wreath bobbing to the beat. Over in the corner, Cleopatra is having a dance-off with Marie Antoinette, their costumes shimmering under the strobe lights. And who's that doing the moonwalk? Why, it's none other than the ghost of Michael Jackson himself, proving that his moves are timeless. It's a wild spectacle, with everyone from cowboys to astronauts, vampires to superheroes, all grooving to the eclectic rhythm of Halloween's past and present. This is the beauty of Halloween. It's a time when history comes alive, quite literally, and dances the night away. So, as we wrap up our journey through Halloween's quirky evolution, remember to embrace these traditions because, who knows, maybe one day, you'll be the one starting a new one.